Hello, class of History 322. Today, we'll be discussing key figures of the People's Crusade. First, we'll speak of Urban II, Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, delivered a speech at Clermont in 1095, discussing the nature of the crusading fervor. According to him, and as head of the Roman Catholic Church, it was the God-given right of Christendom to retake Jerusalem from the hands of its Islamic occupiers. According to him, the rationale behind the Crusades was to make safe the routes of the pilgrimage so the pilgrims could traverse the path at least once in their life, as was customary for Christian religion, to be exonerated of all their sins. As such, he sanctified the Christian invasion of the Holy Land and made morally right the slaying of what he considered infidels in Jerusalem and its surrounding neighbors. Peter the Hermit, otherwise known as Peter the Venerable, left his exile with the Seleucid Turks in 1095, following the speech at Clermont. According to stories, Peter used Pope Urban II's words as his own, but instead gave him an anti-Semitic twist, thus encouraging people of the lower class of Europe to crusade against the Jews of the Rhine. His preachings were anti-Semitic at their roots and incited violence across the Rhinelands. To this day, there is much debate among historians as to whether or not he was viewed as a hero or villain during his time. However, the general script, as is through Hebrew writings, is such that he was in fact the first and most dangerous catalyst of this anti-Semitic outbreak of violence. The next figure, Walter Sanzouar, hails from France. He garnered the name Walter the Penniless as his family was at the time low on funds, and hence decided that crusading would bring honor and, of course, currency to his family's wealth. His initial forces were separate from Peter's. However, in the later portion of the summer of 1096 AD, it is believed that Walter Sanzouar asked Peter the Hermit if he would be allowed to commandeer a small portion of his forces, to which Peter rejoined that it would be better off if they crusaded together as one larger force. And with him, they perpetrated a massive amount of violence against the Jewish communities of the Rhine. And their swath of destruction continued all the way to Byzantium, where they were eventually repelled and turned around by the emperor himself, who offered no assistance in their matters. The next figure, Godfrey of Bouillon, was a member of royalty in Europe, tracing his lineage back to the kings, and especially King Richard, who was the current King of England. Following after Peter, Godfrey of Bouillon also took the path to retake the pilgrimage walks from Islamic occupiers. However, it is often attributed to him as the hero of Christendom. After hearing tales of Peter the Hermit and Walter's violence and atrocities, it is believed that he condemned their practices and ultimately referred to them as contemptuous and dishonorable. The involvement by Peter of the lower class, including merchants, farmers, and individuals who simply picked up their lives to continue with this anti-Semitic crusade, was outright condemned by Godfrey, as crusading was something that was supposed to be relegated to knights and members of royalty. He is hailed, according to many accounts, as the true Christian hero, though that's up for interpretation. The final figure we'll discuss is Salah ad-Din. In this iconic picture, we see the son of a Turkish warlord, whose brilliant strategists led him to be called the most fearsome Saracen. Saracen being a Christian term derived from their phrasing, not from Sarah, or not a son of Sarah, who was a biblical figure and important role in the Christian religion. Matching King Richard's forces on the battlefield at nearly every turn, it was not long before he retook Jerusalem, following the People's Crusade, and utterly shattered Christian control on the city proper. However, it is said that he offered safe passage to those crusaders within the city who threw down their weapons and vowed to leave without causing any further problems for the inhabitants.